Hey guys, XJ9 here, and today's gonna be a video about my loot at the Sanctum of Rebirth slash what I think about the Sanctum Rebirth, and also what I think they should change with the Sanctum Rebirth, especially with group mode, which they did make a Reddit post about asking for feedback. So right off the bat, I'm gonna go to my collection log and show you my loot slash KC. This boss's name is the Katra, 443 KC, right? And we have 5 wands, 5 orbs, 9 essences. I'm pretty much, well, I'm actually a little bit lucky on the essences. 11 codexes and 9 prayers. So overall, everything kind of looks like the same drop rate. Like it's actually kind of interesting. I have 11 books, of the scripture of Amscot and 9 divine rage prayers, because again, they're very close to number like 10 or 9. So I honestly feel like the drop rate, I mean, overall for like the Scripture Amescot and Divine Rage per Codex are balanced around 1 out of 50 in hard mode. And like, so every run, it's a 1 out of 50 chance to get either like the Scripture or the Rage prayer. And same thing with the Roar of Awakening or the Deceit Orb and Shard Genesis. I feel like if you do 50 kills, on average, you're supposed to get either 1 Roar or 1 Deceit, not both, just one of them. 1 Essence, 1 Scripture, and 1 Divine Rage Prayer. So the log should take about 100 KC if you are on the dot and also didn't get a duplicate with the tier 95 weapon sets. Also, I have gotten a double drop at the last boss, which was I think it was an orb and a scripture. People have gotten an orb, a pet, and a scripture. So like, I'm not sure if the Divine Rage Prayer Codex can be rolled at the same time as a Scripture Amescot, or if it's like the 50-50 roll. So maybe, because again, like maybe it just chooses between these two items, just like how it chooses between the two main hand and offhands. So I can also show you my generic loot I have at the Sanctum itself. Jambon's in there? Is that Jambon? I don't know. But yeah, again, I have these pages. I use some pages, so this isn't all the pages I got. I think I've probably used at least 20 or 30 pages into my own book. We have, these other junk items. I can't trade those relics. And, that's pretty good. But, again, that's not all the loot. It's in my chest. So if we go to my chest, we have a total of 1 bill. We have 25 more pages, so that's pretty good. I've gotten like 3 or 4 sands. How much do I have in my inventory? I got 4 sands. Got sold 1, and we had 5 magister keys. The big thing I actually find very interesting is 62 vital sparks isn't too shabby, because like, again, the thing that Jagex is trying to do, which I actually like, is drop a little sprinkle of other contents like items, especially like a consumable. So for instance, the Rex Matriarchs, they have a very very chance to drop an ancient scale, draconic energy, things like that. So you can't like realistically like farm an entire Elite Strenic set through doing Rex Matriarchs. It's just a sprinkle on top, like just like how you realistically shouldn't expect to farm an entire Limitless Sigil through doing this dungeon, but like it helps the economy about a bit, because like not everyone kills the Manifold Slayer dungeon creatures, plus they don't use the enhancers. I don't think the enhancers work here. A lot of moon shards. I think I've gotten a total of 68 or 69. A lot of blood runes. The cannonballs is this is gonna drive the price down a little bit, because this is gonna be really popular, and it's like essentially like a care pick boss where there's so many cannonballs are dropped. Ghostly essence is, I think, crash at this point, because this is like probably the most amount of ghostly essence like of any content ever. Borrowed talismans are always dirt cheap, but that's just for the new players, like who just farm Arc Lake or like you AFK it. And then obviously some alchemables. So again, out of 440 plus KC, I like that. Again, like a lot of this value isn't like pure gold. Like this is a consumable. This is a consumable. Like the amount of money in pure gold isn't that high. Like again, like only 37 rare relics was just 37 mil. Like, on Zamorak, you get like 1 every single kill. Like imagine if this was like 430. That'd be pretty bad for the economy, in my opinion. So I like that they went with like a lot of consumable niche items. Like, though I also like that they put not too many Elder Wood Spirits, Acadia Wood Spirits. Like if if I did like 460 kill at like, I don't know, Raziel or let's just say some other Stone Spirit boss, like this would be like 10 times or 6 times. I like that they're being very conservative with the amount of spirits being given, because that was the biggest mistake with Stone Spirits, is that they did a 1-to-1 ratio. Like, oh, let's just say next drops 20 rune ore, like it probably should have been like 5 or less even. Like it gave way too much and it made it worthless. And yeah, I mean, summoning focus is just XP. So that's pretty much that. I will say, overall, I'm actually pleasantly surprised how much fun I've been having with this content. I expected it to be really bad. Like, okay, it's like okay, but like, oh, DPS just out of it. And that was it. I've been enjoying the mechanics a lot. I would love more bosses like this. Because like, 443 kills, bro. Like, I get like 6 kills plus an hour at this rate. I can do 6.5 kills with Necromancy. Magic, I can actually do 6 kills an hour as well. Because the new wands are actually really good. I'm working on range and melee. I think with range I can do 5, melee 4. I need to work on those. I might work on that later today. I've been streaming that a little bit, just showing off the styles. But yeah, magic's really good because like I can easily get sub 4s, even 330s, even 1 cycles on the last boss. I even mess up so much though with like I'm still like mastering magic again because I haven't maged in a long while. But like once magic gets a new set effect with elite tectonic armor and perhaps a new armor, just like how Draculich came out, maybe through rune crafting, I think magic is gonna pop off. Like I actually got this. I could have maybe sold one of these for like 1.21 bill. I put 1.5 for like the first one I got. It didn't sell the one, so like I'm like, yeah, at that point I'm just gonna keep it. Like I think by the time I could have put the offer, it was like 800 mil. Like yeah, sure. Like in total, I think I got like 2 wands, but I could have sold for like 800 mil each. Like I don't really care, bro. Like I'm just gonna keep these. You know why? I'm just gonna collect them because I think it's insane that these are only 300 mil, for each. So 600 mil total. Like it's actually extremely good. So I feel like once magic pops off, I think, and like say people aren't doing this anymore, I think the wand and orb are gonna go up a lot, and the shards are gonna have a mini jump because the reason the shard even is going down in price so much, like again, I think it's like 2 bill, maybe it's less, I'm not sure. But last night before I went to sleep it was like 2.3, 2.2. It's just because all people do is use Necromancy. It's like 90% Necromancers, 10%, like I would say like 90% Necromancers, 6% Rangers, 1% like 1.5% Majors, and like 0.5% Meleeers. Like I never see anyone melee. And I personally think it's because of Berserk. I honestly think they should just remove the damage taken, just make your armor reduce, because damage taken is the worst thing in the world. Like it's the most unfriendly experience ever, and it's not like melee is like that much better at nuking. Like why would you use melee when you can just use range? Like, so I really feel like they should rework Berserk and just remove the damage amp and just reduce your armor. That's it. Also, again, I like the idea of as you get hit, because of your reduced armor, maybe you get damage reduction to encourage you to stay in there, something like that. So yeah, I'm probably going to use this essence, by the way, on my laying swords, and then I'm probably going to use it on my Bolas Guardian just for testing purposes. They will probably buff the Exakill. They're definitely going to buff the Staff of Armor because you can also upgrade, if you look at the information, you can upgrade the Fracture Staff of Armor and the Exakill. No one talks about the Exakill, but yeah, they've been talking about the Staff of Armor, how they wanted to buff it, so it's probably going to get a passive. Exakill's passive is really bad, as in it's just wear the Onyx necklace, the Berserker necklace, and you have 5% more damage. Like that isn't really that good. So yeah, they'll probably buff that too. So yeah, I might even buy an Exakill sometime soon, while they're cheap. Again, but even if they got even if melee got mega buffed, no, it's not going to be a popular style as long as the Berserk damage amplification exists. They need to remove that, like literally remove it. So that's that. So overall, I think all the bosses are well designed. I think my favorite boss is the first boss, right? And the third boss, the second boss is pretty simple. It's like more traditional, but like with little go in and go out. And the funny thing about the bosses as well is I feel like Jagex honestly watched my video. Because if you look at the problem in AFK bossing in RuneScape video I made where I was AFKing Hellweir, I literally said things where I was like, I should be attacking Hellweir at an HP threshold, go do something. At another one, go do something. That's exactly what the second boss is. It's exactly what the first boss is. Like, to the T. I honestly feel like they watched my video and were like, yeah, we don't want people to AFK the boss and just sit there, you know. So I think that's good, like, cause like I think it's embarrassing that you can AFK Razio and just go make a sandwich. Like some people act like it's no, you need to do a little input. That's not true. Like there's literally a video out there where you can do it, and it's probably even easier now because of the tier 100 offhand main hand. So they're honestly just like, I guess they just don't know that it's possible. But yeah, I personally don't like people that like instead of saying, "Oh, really?" they go, "No, you can't." When I know you can. So I always, that stuff kind of bothers me when people are so confidently incorrect about things. A little bit digressive. I apologize. But yeah, third boss is really cool. I don't like that the 4 glyphs appear if your DPS is low or someone dies in the team. I don't understand the punishing people for less DPS or someone died. Like, I don't know. I don't understand that. But let's talk about group mode. So group mode, the biggest problems in group mode in my, I think I've done about 100 kill group mode, mostly 4-man actually, is I think the least I've done is duo. The first boss is really bad because, you know, gathering 3 energies is pretty simple, but like when you have 4 players, there's a lot of particle effects. There's a lot of auto attacks coming out of the Leviathan's mouths, right? And that particle effect looks just like the thing coming from the sky that you have to catch. And so like 4 people are bound to miss at, you know, they're bound to miss one. Like it's unreasonable to think they wouldn't miss one. So I kind of hope that, let's just say we're doing 4-man mode. You know how it requires 12 souls to phase the boss. It should only require 9. So solo, you still have to catch all 3. Duo, you have to catch 5 total. You do trio, it's 8. You do 4-man, it's 9, right? Something like that. But it pretty much like every person added on past 1 reduces the requirement by 1, because it's honestly insane how much time you lose in the first boss just because like a small error. And I don't have an issue with that, but the issue with that, based on the issue with that is that solo is so much easier to not mess it up compared to 4-man, because it's like you have 4 people, so it's 4 times chances to make a mistake. That's what makes group content hard, right? So they really need to lessen the requirement, because if this was a 4-man boss and that's just how it was, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I'd be like, okay, yep, that's just, you gotta pay attention to it. But because solo is the option there, you have to do something about that. The second boss overall, I don't think it's an issue. If you have a major, it's huge in 4-man mode because the major can use an obliteration staff special and negate all the healing during when you're killing the pillar. That saves so much time. That's the thing with Magic too, is that in my runs, my second boss is really good because of that, and because you don't have to do as much damage, right? And also, mage doesn't have to like summon Necromancy, summon Conjure, summon invoke Lord of Bones, and all this stuff, right? It just goes in. So that's the thing with the other styles. Also save time on with these bosses, because I don't stall or anything on like anything like that. The third boss, yeah. So like the second boss is always easy in my opinion. If people are you know, die and stuff, it's but like the second boss, I don't have much of an issue with. You kind of like honestly would say need an obliteration staff user, aka a mage user, to get good kill times in 4-man, which isn't an issue because in 4-man mode you'll have people with Lord of Bones, so you can reduce the defense so the major can hit. So I don't think that's an issue. So you need a major. I like that. Again, this is like that second boss is, I like it because it encourages someone to be a major. I'm not sure about this, but one thing I was trying to do in my 4-mans yesterday, or 3-mans yesterday, was casting obliteration staff and then going to necromancy. Right, like I would put on my wand, use it, go back to my necromancy main hand. I think that buff goes away if you're not wearing a magic weapon, which I think is good. I think so because I used it. I'm like, it didn't work, and I'm like, I think it doesn't work when you don't have a magic weapon on. So I think that personally is a good change. I like that it encourages a mage user. Like that's stuff we need in the game. We need stuff where like we have so many cool things like Zuriel staff. What if there's a boss that attacked really fast but was affected by Zuriel staff that makes it that makes attacks take longer. Like we have so many cool special weapons that aren't just 2 damage. That like I really hope we keep on making bosses where like you're encouraged to mage, or like you're encouraged to bring a mage person, or you're encouraged to bring a ranger. You know, like I hope we get more of that. The third, okay, so let's go to the third boss. The third boss, the biggest issue with the third boss is first phase usually goes fine as long as everyone has decent DPS rotations. It's easy to phase it and skip scarabs in part one. The issue really comes into play when people panic at the dogs a lot. Again, like I don't think that phase is hard because uh, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but I think you can. But oh wow, I just summoned some guys. Let's go right here. So let's just say that a doctrine is the boss, right? So you could literally like stand here, and there'll be a cross, and it won't hit you. I think you mean like stand like this close, and like even though it's like slightly overlapping, like like the tip of the square, the little particle effect where like it's showing that her star attack's gonna come out, it won't hit you. Like there's actually more room during the dog phase than you would think. So I think people just need to get honestly used to it because it's not that hard, and like you can even like just tank the wave. But you have to be like you don't even need mage prayer. Like you could just maybe cast like reflect or something, or just dodge it because again it's not like she does the star mechanic and the waves at the same time. There is time to dodge it. The other problem is if people if people die somehow during the dog phase, the last phase takes a long time, and then you have to deal with the 4 glyph mechanic, which is just punishes people for dying / bad DPS, and if you're like doing solo, which I don't understand honestly. And yeah, people kind of die when you like step one back, go one forward. I don't honestly think that's that hard, honestly, because like I even could do it with magic and still like get my conk off and my thresholds. Like I'll like use conk, wild magic, walk back, use conk and like conk and 2 tick fix, walk back, and then a corruption blast, go here, tendril. It's not that hard once you get used to it. And what else? You can also cast Enfeeble and just eat food and you'll be absolutely fine. What else about the boss, guys? Yeah, really, so the biggest time losses in doing group mode that decentralizes grouping is the first boss is absolutely god-awful. The second boss is fine, but you honestly, I would say, need someone with obliteration staff. Like, you need a major. Because reducing how much HP? 36k to 72,000 HP every 3 seconds is ginormous. Like literally your one obliteration special is doing like 300,000 damage essentially. Like that's insane. So you need a major for if you're doing group mode, which I don't mind. And yeah, the last boss just becomes a shit show because the chance of someone to die is just so high. And again, like the biggest thing that people die on this game is like they're not Bonfire, that new Ulak. Like you see my HP, people boss like this. Like go Bonfire and go to the thermal bath, or just use your Desert Pantheon aura and get the best in slot HP. Because they die because they have such a low HP. Like if you have 11,000 HP, you can just Blood River E, and then take even a second hit. The thing that kills people is when like, oh, wave's coming, they don't dodge it, they get hit, walk, and then get hit by the other one. Like just tank it. Cause like I even do that in my mage kills where I'm conking, wild magic, then I'm fixing, conking again. Bro, I'll just tank a hit because like if you're soul split, because you have soul split on the whole time, soul split on, and eat food and deal damage, you can literally tank 2 hits easily. Like you don't even need to dodge it. So I'm just saying that's a pro tip there. In regards to that, but I honestly do hope they fix the group mode. Some people, again, Jagex did say they just want to, like one suggestion, not that they want to, but a suggestion that they had was, oh, what if we wanted to reduce the HP by 8? Like so, instead of being 100, oh, I have another player, 100% more HP. It'll only be plus 80% HP. I personally, it would solve the group mode issue and allow people to like take lesser skilled players. But the problem I have with that personally is that it might dampen the boss's difficulties to the point where like you might even see elitism where like we need to skipping the can on part 1. If they did this change, would be ridiculously easy with 2, 3, 4 people. Like it would be ridiculously easy. Well, maybe not so much duo. I think 3 to 4 man it would be ridiculously easy. And I just feel like it might ruin the PVM experience for newer PVMers, like because like let's just say this is like one of the first bosses they're doing. Like again, like I don't even think about normal mode. By the way, this is only a hard mode perspective. I haven't really thought about the normal mode perspective too much. Like I don't know like how normal mode, group mode is, but I'm assuming it's the same thing where the boss 1 is really bad, healing a boss 2 is insane. You need obliteration, and people die in the last boss, but. Yeah, this is just a hard mode perspective, really. They need to, like, personally, I would like it if they just. So I believe the drop rate again for the Shard Genesis is 1 out of 50. To get one of the tier 95 weapons, either one or orb, is a 1 out of 50. And like my drop rate, like again, if you look at my drop log, it looks like it. So I think that again, like each person you have just decreases the drop rate. I'm not sure if it should be exponential or not, or just a flat value. So like, let's just say so solo 1 out of 50, duo 1 out of 46, trio 1 out of 42, 4-man 1 out of 38. I don't know if it should just be a flat value, or maybe exponential, where like if you add one or two, like so let's just say duos 1 out of 46, and then be -5 it, then trios 1 out of 41, then 4-man would be 1 out of 36. Like I'm not sure if we should do that, because the thing with the exponential is it might discourage people from doing duo. Like I don't think the solo too much. Like solo is like whatever. Like if you want to do solos, that's fair. Like again, solo is great already, so I don't think we need to like make solo easier. So I don't know if that would discourage people that do like duo or even 3-man, like only want to do 4-man. So that's something about that. So I'm not sure if I don't know. I'm not sure if this should be extra strong. I do think the drop rate increase per player is a better solution than just less saying HP. I like my mind's still kind of a little bit conflicted about it, because then it's like if someone dies early, it's kind of bad, but like at least it's more rewarding. I don't know. So maybe tell me what you think about that. Besides that, yeah. The only other thing that I don't know, I think I'm kind of weirded out by is I'm surprised that affinity values weren't that low. Because if you look at my preparation video, I thought the affinity values and like defense levels and armor would be like 40% hit chance, 40% hit potential max. It wasn't like that at all. You had like 91%, 87% with Necromancy. The other styles were pretty bad unless you were on a Zerk aura, which is kind of awful. But just thinking from a Necromancy perspective, like you had 100% hit chance on boss 1 and 2. So it's like, yeah, if they had it at a lower value, it's like 40% hit chance on all the bosses, for instance, you would obviously want, more people, because then you can increase your damage. Like one ranger applies Blackstone arrows, one necromancer applies Lord of Bone stacks. We have a major who is using a bleed build with, I don't know, let's just say Stasis Warhammer / Barrel Chest Anchor or something, right? And not really focusing on like DPS too much, but like does it afterwards. So yeah, I honestly just thought it was gonna be something like that, where you had to bring people. Like that's how you would encourage group sizes. I was really far off. I don't think Jagex was thinking about that at all. The reason they did increase the defense, like make these bosses more like they lowered their defense, right? The reason they did that was because they didn't like that everyone was using Necromancy at these bosses, because all the other styles did not have 100% hit chance, or it was like a pain in the ass. Like again, like why would you use any other style when you could just use Necromancy and have 100% hit chance on boss 1 and 2, and just use Lord of Bones? Now you have 100% hit chance for tier 95s on boss 1 and 2, and boss 3 is the boss where you would need a debuff or just be on a Zerk aura. So I understand why they did that, so I'm not really mad about that. But I feel like the biggest problem, and like they wouldn't have done that, is if this guy just trade. Why does this guy keep trading me? What the hell? I honestly feel like they should just bump the combat, like strength, attack, defense, magic, and range. They need to bump this to 120. They need to bump it to 120, and they need to remove Zerk auras from the game. I would even remove accuracy auras, just because Necromancy does have it. I just think they're boring. I think it's more interesting when like I'm a major and I'm taking Vampirism because I have so many hit spots, or I'm a major and I want to be a little bit tinky with my Ages. I don't know. Maybe Aegis is a little bit broken. I will say the Aegis is kind of like one of the more uninteresting ones. Maybe if it worked with tank armor only. Inspiration, even Dark Magic. Dark Magic has potential to be interesting, because if it was coded as a bleed, it would be interesting with bleed builds. Like what if Dark Magic worked with the tier 95 wand from Sanctum, because it increases bleed damage? What if it increased Dark Magic's bleed damage? Like I just think there's more interesting, like even new auras they could make, and maybe make like a proper system slash tutorial for auras somewhere in the game if they are so inclined on keeping auras as, you know, a base fundamental to the game, right? Because a lot of people don't know anything about auras. So yeah, I really think they should just bump these to 120, because the thing I noticed with Mage was when I'm not in Zerk aura and not in Sun, like when I'm going to kill the dogs, like I can usually nuke the one dog in Sunshine, but when I go in the next dog, I'm not in Sunshine, and like if I'm not, I can use my turn 95 special and it'll do good damage, but like if I already used it for some reason or just don't have it, you hit so bad. Like the DPS check of the dogs at 80 or 90,000 HP is like ridiculously hard with magic. I'm not sure about melee or range. I think melee and range did fine, but like magic has really bad issues where like you literally need all the pieces of Exodia, such as Fracture Staff, Armor, Sunshine, and like you better have that wand, or you just do no damage with your basics. And like, yeah, I just find that a little bit weird because like again, like, Necromancy basics just do so much damage and they feel good. When you have a Zerk aura on, basics do feel good with magic, but when you don't have it on, it feels really bad. So I do hope they do something about that and just again just bump everything to 120, so then we don't have to be like, oh, Necromancy is so much more accurate here. We have to nerf the bosses because Necromancy is too strong and too accurate. I think this Necromancy is causing a balance issue with the game because it's the only 120 skill. Like, I'll be honest, I don't even like. I'm surprised they didn't revert Necromancy. Again, if they aren't, they need to put it to 120 at this point because it's been too long, honestly. And I also like the idea of not, because I hate Zerk auras. I don't think you should be like, gotta refresh that Zerk aura. Like, I don't like that mindset. But like, at the Sanctum, I honestly feel like you need a Zerk aura. And I'm not even that type of guy to be like, you need a Zerk aura. But like, it's bad if you don't earn it on a Zerk aura. Like, it's really bad. Look at this. So 99, like, what do we get? 4 active conjures, which doesn't exist, and some attraction glyphs. Like, you could have easily moved these things into the 1 to 99 category. I don't know why we made Necromancy a 120 skill. I really don't. Like, so the solution was either make Necromancy only a 99 skill, and that's it, or at this point they should just make all the styles 120 and just evolve the game and just move on. Don't. Oh, I'm sorry. What you worked for was 120. Sorry, it doesn't matter anymore. So, at this point, they might as well just do that because honestly, this is kind of just bad. I don't know why they made it a 120 skill. It was really bad. It's been over almost a year at this point. Or maybe, sorry, I ate and I like, sorry, but it's been like almost, maybe it's been a year already, but yeah, I think it's been a year, and we haven't like really had anything. Like, Jagex is asking what they should do with the 4th Conjure. Like, they haven't even like thought about it. So yeah, I'm just saying, man, like, they need to do that. So besides that, that's pretty much it. Maybe tell me what you think about the video and your thoughts, but I do hope they fix group mode. Boss 1 really needs to get fixed, and then the solution at that point would either be drop rate increase per player or decrease damage. I do think the drop rate increase is kind of cool because if you're just soloing, it actually kind of encourages the solo player to go and play with groups instead of just playing with themselves. So I think that's cool. So yeah, that's it. Bye.